new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire, the no-show. Who set you back because they didn't show up on day one, or day two, or ever again. And now your product launch is delayed because you're talking to alien abduction podcasters to track them down. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can help make sure your next hire sticks. In fact, businesses who use LinkedIn are 24% less likely to reopen a role in the next 12 months. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at accenture.com/Spotify.
This podcast is part of the Robots Radio Rocket Club, a program designed to help all podcasts reach their full potential. For information about joining the Robots Radio Rocket Club, check out robotsradio.net.
Welcome to the Final Fantasy Lorecast, a podcast dedicated to the history and lore of the Final Fantasy series. Join us as we take a deep dive into the different worlds, characters, and so much more. Welcome back, Warriors of Light, to another episode of the Final Fantasy Lorecast, and I am one of your hosts, Ben of Temeria, followed by my two other hosts, Steven.
Yo.
And Trey.
Hello.
And as we are currently still in our Season 2, we are still going over the various summons of the series. And we first went over Ifrit, then Shiva. Today, we are going to go over another major element summon, which is Garuda. And if you played any of the recent Final Fantasies, Garuda has actually a pivotal role in some of the newer games. 14,
more than usual.
Mainly 14 and 16.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't really remember Garuda ever, except for 16. But in 16, just unbelievably important, and is played by, it's, I don't want to say too much because it's not really that, but just the character that it goes along with it's so excellent all around. So Garuda went from, I couldn't have cared less about Garuda until 16. And then 16 happened and it was like, boom, one of my favorites.
Right. Yes.
In some of the other games, it's literally like just she's literally like a common enemy in at least one that I'm looking at right now.
That's also true. So, to kick things off, Garuda is a recurring creature in the Final Fantasy series, first introduced in Final Fantasy III. Initially depicted as a strong enemy with various bird-like attributes and lightning elemental attacks, the creature transcended into a role of recurring wind elemental summon, with its design solidifying as a female humanoid bird monster. So, there you have it. It's a bird. Essentially, Garuda is a harpy.
Yeah.
It's literally what it is. That's literally what Garuda is. If you know mythology or The Witcher or anything like that, it's a harpy. Just a giant green harpy that has magic.
And if you want to see what they look like in the games, just check out the Discord. I'm putting it in both the Bins and Friends and Robots Radio right now. Our man Sharp has once again come through with a graphic for what Garuda looks like in all of the games they are featured in.
Shout out Sharp.
And Sharp is actually in chat. So, hello Sharp.
Howdy Sharp.
So, as I said earlier, Garuda first appeared in Final Fantasy III, just like all summons. So summoning started with 3, because that's when they introduced the summoning class, or summoning job. So Garuda debuted as a character and boss in Final Fantasy III as an evil advisor to King Gorm of Saronia. Gigamet's mind controls the king, forcing him to pointedly send his troops into battle against each other and exiling the prince Alas Rastor. When forced to attempt to kill his son, the king stabs himself to lift the curse of the Gigamets himself faces the Warrior's Light as Garuda. Words are hard today. Ugh. And then Garuda in Final Fantasy III resembles a man with bird wings, feet, and head. In the artwork and 3D model of the remake, his body and plumage is colored white, while the Falcom and Pixel Remaster sprites' body is green, while the plumage is yellow. It's notable for his lightning ability that deals significantly high damage to the player and the party, making the Dragoon's jump ability essential for winning the battle.
There you go. A little strategy along with the lore.
Yeah, and go Dragoons, because Dragoons are awesome.
True.
I think Dragoons get more love on this podcast than any other class in Final Fantasy.
I mean, Dragoons are so iconic.
Yeah, it's me and Ben's fault. He just loved Dragoons.
I'm not arguing against it. I also love Dragoons. It was just something that popped into my head. I happened to notice. But
they do get a lot of love.
Garuda seemed to be, pretty important in Final Fantasy III. How important was Garuda the next time they showed up, Ben?
Well, Garuda's next appearance doesn't happen until 7. So Garuda doesn't appear for 3 games until 7.
Doesn't appear in any of Trey's favorite games.
Nope, none at all. 4, 5, and 6.
I don't know why you're saying that like it's a dig at me.
I'm just saying
they aren't my favorites, but I do enjoy them. Yes.
Yeah.
So Garuda appears as an enemy in Final Fantasy VII, initially fought in the Dai Chao statue map. It appears as a green bird-like creature with human arms and capable of using ice and lightning elemental attacks. And that's it.
Yeah.
What do you mean that's it? They can use ice and lightning, both.
Yep.
Super special.
And then it does appear in the side game Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII. Garuda appears as an enemy monster in the mission 9-4-6, only for the first class, and is capable of casting Thundrika. It appears as a large brown bird with pink-tipped wings and a long pole arm-like beak.
Yeah, it's like a hummingbird in Crisis Core.
Pretty much. And then we skip another game. We don't have 8. We go straight to 9. Because
Quetzalcoatl took the place.
Quetzalcoatl took the place of Garuda in 8 for the wind attribute, which is Trey's, favorite.
Yeah.
Happy for it to happen.
So, with Final Fantasy IX, Garuda appears as both regular and friendly enemy. The regular enemy can cause wind damage to the entire party with Aerial Slash, or reduce the party's HP to single digits with Maelstrom. Garuda appears as a bird-like creature with a disproportionately large face and beak, large eyes, and green and blue feathers tipped with a red and head of pink hair. The friendly version's body coloration leans more towards the green, while its wing and tail feathers display a rainbow pattern.
Yeah, so 9 has a side quest kind of thing where you run into friendly monsters, and there's I forget how many of them, 9 or 10, something like that. You have to give them it's usually a piece of ore, and then they give you a whole bunch of AP as a reward, and then they say, go say hi to this next one. And when you get to the next area, there'll be another friendly monster. So there's that one, and there's also a regular enemy, which is annoying to try and be like, oh, good, I finally, because you have to at one point track down all the friendly monsters in order to get to this one secret boss. And so you keep running into regular Garudas, and you're like, come on, I need the friendly one.
And then
sounds like you know from experience.
Oh yeah. And then now we get to Final Fantasy X. Garuda is a large bird-like enemy. During the party's first encounter with the enemy, Yuna summons a Valfor for the very first time. That's it.
Yeah, it's super common enemy. You run into them all the time, and they're just a bird enemy that you have to fight. Just Waka against.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's both for Balfour and when they do the Waka. Oh, I'll get that one.
introducing his style.
And then we jump to Final Fantasy XI. So this is the first MMO, so there's a bit more lore for Garuda for the MMO. So Garuda appears in Final Fantasy XI as one of the 8 celestial avatars, also known as sleeping gods, representing wind. Acting as the first appearance as a summon, Garuda takes the form of a green woman with bird-like features. As a summon, she is acquired from the Cloister of Gales at Cape Terrigan. She can cast a number of wind-based spells and abilities in addition to using her claws and physical damage enemies. Perhaps one of her more commonly used abilities is Aerial Armor, where it gives every member of the party the effective Blink or Hestega, which grants the haste to every member of the party and exclusively available to Garuda. But she can also does have limited abilities that allow her to heal party members. Garuda is also highly respected for her Predator Claw attack, a devastatingly powerful strike that is often the summoner's staple attack for notorious monster fights. Garuda was a small bird-like raised by a young prince. When the prince got attacked by a viper, Garuda looked to the means to cure him. Another bird informed her that she should seek the aid of the king birds, who could awaken the healing wind. Voopchop. Garuda flew ever further upwards, looking for the king of birds, but couldn't find him anywhere. Having reached the limits of her strength, she fell from the sky, but her resolve was so powerful that she transformed during her fall, gaining a humanoid shape and regaining her vitality. She realized that she now had the power to heal the prince, and did so, leaving him afterwards, as she no longer looked like the little bird that he raised. However, it is said that once the prince grew up, he managed to find her and marry her. Upon Garuda's death, Altana transformed her into the celestial avatar when, because of her loyalty and devotion. Vuchap is the name of the brightest green-colored star of Garuda's constellation. As the enemy, Garuda Prime is the creature that must be defeated for a summoner to learn to cast forth as a summon, though that is not only possible reward for defeating her.
There you go.
Yep.
A little backstory for the summon.
Oh yeah, so Garuda was a little tiny bird, flew off to get healing powers, and then transform into a humanoid creature with bird features. Yeah.
Well, I'm just glad it went from the bird to the humanoid type creature, because I'm not against birds for summons. Again, I love Quetzalcoatl. But I think the version that we ended up with later on in the last couple games has definitely been the peak Garuda model.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, 11's pretty cool too, as far as like it's definitely an improvement over 10. 10 is a pretty dumb interpretation of. Oh
yeah, I'm a fan of 11s too. I didn't mean to make it sound like I wasn't. But yeah, I like the shift they wanted, and they kind of went back in 12, which we'll talk about in a minute. But then 14, 15, and 16, it's more that 11 model that they started with here that looks so appealing.
Yeah, those three definitely have the best design out of all of them, 14, 15, and 16.
Yep. And then now we go to Final Fantasy XII. So for Garuda first appears as a boss outside the tomb of Rothwall. Despite this, it isn't classified as a boss in the clan primer, since it appears as a regular enemy called Garuda Edgy later in the Farmina Rift. Which 12
I remember
is
that.
12.
I remember that fight.
Yeah, it's like your first big solo. It's like when they take the training wheels off, and like now you have a boss. And it.
Yeah, you have that huge trek through the desert, and then you finally get to that tomb, and you're like, all right, I finally made it across all of this. That took me forever, and you get there, and it is, like you said, a real boss battle. And I remember getting my butt kicked the first time I did it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot if you're not prepared for it.
Yep. Oh, geez. But yeah, that's what we got. And with that being said, we are going to go into our mid-break.
This summer, say I do.
I am marrying a stranger.
Like never before.
Am I crazy?
It's a whole new Married at First Sight on Peacock.
Thank God I woke up in love.
With new experts.
My name is Dr. Lisa.
My name is Paul Brunson.
More couples.
This could be the start of a very successful marriage.
And more surprises.
Or maybe not.
Everything is just not enough.
You're a little bit crazy.
I don't know what's going to happen. I want my fairy tale ending.
Married at First Sight, now streaming. New episodes Thursdays, only on Peacock.
This episode is brought to you by Perfect Bistro Cat Food. Cats, this ad is for you. Has your human ever called you picky, persnickety, choosy? If so, Perfect Bistro Cat Food is for you. With ingredients like wild-caught tuna and pasture-raised lamb, tantalizing textures, and delectable flavors that meet even the most discerning cat standards. You're not picky, you're just perfectionists. Perfect Bistro, mealtime perfection for every cat. Have your human visit perfectbistro.com.
And welcome to the middle of the show where we talk about everything with the podcast that has nothing to do with the lore of Final Fantasy. And at this point, I want to thank all of our patrons for supporting us. Thank you so much. And if you want to become a patron, you can join us on patreon.com/Final Fantasy Lorecast, to where you can get ad-free episodes, or even join us at the end of the month on an episode of your topic of your choosing. Last month was a lot of fun. We delved into a lot of the old school Final Fantasy games that myself and Steven aren't accustomed to, but Trey is. So it was a fun episode, and it was a lot of fun. And
I don't think it went as well as I better than I hoped. Even I was so glad for the how do you say it? It was
Hylian Cubby.
Hylian Cubby. Okay,
yeah, Hylian is Legend of Zelda.
Not being a Zelda guy, that one doesn't just roll off the tongue for me. But he was such a great Patreon to come on. It was a great topic, and I cannot wait for the next one. I'm just excited to see what that topic's going to be.
Yeah. And if you can't support us on Patreon, you can also support us on Apple and Spotify. If you leave a 5-star review on Apple with some words, we'll read it out loud on the next time in the show, as well as a comment on the episode on Spotify. And we actually have a couple on Spotify. So on our Summons Ifrit episode is from Michael Barnes. Hey all, I'm back, LOL. While this time I got a question for you all. What is your favorite summon and why? Mine is Shiva because ice and I'm always hot. So yeah, LOL. Great job, all. Keep it up. I mean, we all know who Trey's favorite is. I mean, let's be honest. We all know it's Quetzalcoatl.
That's true.
If we're talking about favorite summons, that's a tough one for me. It's either Bahamut or it's Ifrit.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's a hard decision for me.
It's tough. And every game is so much different. Like in some of the games, Odin is by far my favorite. I think he's the coolest. But then other games, there's Alexander, which is an awesome summon. And I'm just gonna go with Anima from 10. That's the best one.
Okay.
That's my.
So Quetzalcoatl's not actually my favorite summon. If I have to pick one, it's also from 10. It is Baleful. It's Yuna's first summon. He saves her when she jumps off the building away from Seymour in that epic moment. And in that game, the summoners and the summons have such strong bonds. That was her first summon. And honestly, I didn't really care for the summons in 7, 8, or 9. I liked the system in 8 because you learn the abilities through them, but like in 7 you had to wait, like you just had to wait through the animations. And so for 10 it was the first time that I really cared for the summons. So my favorite would be Veil 4 because that was the first moment when I'm thinking, okay, what's the first moment, a summon that pops into my head? That's always the first thing I think of is Veil 4 swooping in for the save.
Yeah, 10 definitely has the best summons. There's also like a lot of the hidden ones that you get, like Jimbo and Anima is another one that you have to go out of your way to get, or the Mage's Sisters. Like the 10 definitely is like the high point for summons. I know you're going to say 14, Ben, but I think it's 10.
And then we do also have a comment on our Magic Part 3 from Dan Hartman. Hi, my name is Dan. Just wanted to tell Ben to finish playing Final Fantasy IX because it's one of my favorite games of Final Fantasy. I love to play as a black mage like Vivi. Wow.
Yes. Dan, you're my new favorite listener.
Wow. Okay, well, I'll try to when I have time. But yeah, you can join us. You can help us get recognition through Spotify and Apple, just like those fine folk. And you can also join us on a couple Discords. You can find us on the Robots Radio Discord at robotsradio.net, as well as the Ben and Friends Podcasting Discord, which is my Discord servers for all the shows that I host, including this show, Holocron Histories, the Wizarding World Lorecast, and now including the Witcher Lorecast. So a lot of fun talking about all that stuff.
Definitely listen to the Witcher Lorecast.
I'm not going to say anything yet until I get more details. But
there's no reason to say anything. You should listen to it. Ben's the new host, and I mean, I think The Witcher got a lot of hate, a lot of justified hate for what happened with the TV series. But you guys don't just talk about the TV series, and even when you do talk about the TV series, you're not afraid to call it like it is. So if you like the Witcher universe, it's recommended.
Yeah, me and Toasty have very similar wavelengths when it comes to the Netflix show and a lot of things Witcher, which makes our banter so much more enjoyable. Not saying Tom wasn't good, but Tom's great. Just throwing that out there. Anyway,
if you're listening to this, I'm pretty sure that was Ben shooting shots right in your direction, just aiming directly for your face. Unnecessary Benny.
No, we're not doing that. But anyway, let's get back to Garuda.
What if I told you you only have 12 hours to legally have sex?
To finding true love, or just like a good guy.
From the director of Easy A and Anyone But You.
This whole thing is nuts.
There's nothing traditional about this night.
On August 7th, the clock starts on the summer's biggest rom-com.
I'm Owen.
Allie.
What about you and me?
Monica Barbaro, Callum Turner.
I've been told I'm a 7.
By who? Your mom?
No, she thinks I'm a 10.
One night only. Rated R. Only in theaters August 7th.
Alright, now that we're back, we are now jumping into Final Fantasy XIII. So, the Garuda Interceptor appears as a boss in the Lake Brasha. It is a Psycomb bioweapon variant of the regular Vibrant enemies. The Final Fantasy XIII Ultimanium Omega reveals that Garuda was conceptualized as a fal'Cie at some point during the development, but was ultimately scrapped in the final game. Yeah, so this is another thing where Garuda was just like, a lot of the other summons are essentially like weapons or airships of some sort.
Kind of like 12, how they made them into airships, yeah. Went.
Yep. And then now we have my favorite game, Final Fantasy XIV, which is a lot. So, Garuda is a goddess worshipped by the Elixal, also known as the Lady of Vortex, according to the origin myth believed by the Ixal. They're beast tribe. It's a beast tribe. Garuda once perished presided over the floating continent of Aeolian, alongside her divine soldiers, the Alaxal themselves. But as the evils below began to encroach on Aeolian, Garuda sent her Alaxal to cleanse the land below. To this day, Alaxal believe in their blessed Aeolian and worship Garuda, often summon her as a primal. In reality, this is a distorted version of the truth that the Alaxal were originally the Iliskelion, chromatic soldiers of the Garuda regiment of the Aeolian Empire, which is deployed from the floating research facility Alsos Le by a general who used her soldiers to crush rebellions towards the Empire. And if you go and play 14, the Aeolian Empire is an ancient empire that is long gone and extinct. And they're like, the only you see is ruins and relics of their time. Essentially, like if you play Mass Effect, it's like essentially like the Protheans, or if you go and play the old KOTOR games of Star Wars, it's like the Rakatans. Something like that. And then among primals summoned by the tribes of the Eorzea, Garuda is one of the most capricious and volatile in her disdain for landwalkers, quote unquote. In the original release of Final Fantasy XIV, she attacked Quarry Mill, unleashing strong winds over the hamlet and attacking all who dwelt there. Garuda could not be reached by the conventional means as her winds were too strong, requiring the adventurer to fashion a vortex catcher to help the Archon Louisoix. After being defeated, Garuda excess ether was absorbed by the falling Dalamond, which that is the original 1.0 of the game, which does not exist anymore. So be mindful of that. You will never experience that unless you go and watch it on YouTube. And in the relaunched Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, Garuda once again appears as a primal summoned by Alaxal, who's defeated by the adventurer, reaching her with the help of Sid Garland. Upon being summoned again, Garuda was absorbed by the ultimate weapon, granting it in essence and control over the winds. Following the defeat of the ultimate weapon, the Alaxal summoned her repeatedly in their conflicts with the city-states of Eorzea, being stopped by the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. Sometime later, the Alaxal were almost able to summon Garuda again in their homeland of Zexalfoltol, creating manifestations of her, but were stopped by the Warrior of Light. And then while in the first, while attempting to restore the ethereal balance to the empty, the Warrior of Light summoned the various primals aligned to the various elements in an attempt to do so. During one such time, the warriors summoned Garuda and Ifrit primals based on their memories of their encounters. These primals were distinct from their regular appearances and eventually merged with the new primal Rakapaska. And then when attempting to cross the threshold of the planet to reach the Sea of Stars, and beyond, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn called upon the various tribes of Hydaelyn and performed summonings with the help of the Lopatriss in order to fuel the spaceships of Ragnarok. Upon the summoned primals was Garuda, who disdained helping the Landwalkers in their quest, but was convinced by Susanoo to lend in their aid, which she did, relishing on her control of the winds. Garuda first appeared as a boss in the Howling Eye in Final Fantasy XIV 1.0 and the Howling Eye Hard, which is just the difficulty. In the relaunch Realm Reborn, Garuda appears as a boss in Howling Eye, the Howling Eye Hard, the Howling Eye Extreme. A version of Garuda based on the Warrior Light's memories of the Primal also appears in the Eden's Verse Feral and Eden's Verse Feral Savage. Variations of Garuda can be summoned by the summoner job, namely Garuda Edgy and Emerald Garuda, using the resultant ether of encounters with her. A simulacrum of Garuda can be summoned to instantly defeat all normal enemies within the deep dungeon in Heaven on High while using the Vortex magic site. A Garuda from another world appears in part of the Nocturne of Heroes Final Fantasy 15 collaboration event, faced in a solo duty Messenger of the Winds as part of the Messenger of the Winds quest. Which you cannot do that anymore because they don't have that 15 collaboration in the game anymore.
Darn.
So, there was a lot. Garuda plays a pivotal role in the main story of Realm Reborn, mainly.
The story sounds excellent, and I mean, I'm slowly getting back to it, but I am glad that they are able to flesh it out after the dismal start. But honestly, even the stuff before A Realm Reborn sounded pretty good with Garuda, so it seems like this was just going to be Garuda's game to shine no matter what.
Yeah, so 1.014, the lore and the story was good. The mechanics of the game was what killed it. Because the mechanics and everything was crap. The story and everything was pretty cool.
Every time we read something about the 1.0 story, it always sounds fascinating. I'm like, well, that would have been fun to play.
Yeah.
If only they didn't have to basically scrap it and
start
over.
Right, and you can get a lot of the lore in the Realm Reborn now, and then you can actually, some of the in-game base game stuff that deals with specifically with Bahamut will go back and reference 1.0 quite a bit, actually. And you can even right now, actually, I think the event just ended for the 10th anniversary event where you could get a Phoenix mount. That specific Phoenix was from that Bahamut raid. So, it's really cool stuff. But let's move on from 14 to 15. So, 2 Garudas appear in Final Fantasy 15 as part of the Adventure from Another World Final Fantasy 14 collaboration event added in patch 1.27, which this you can play because 15 is not an online game, so they don't scrap things or take things away.
Yeah, it's I think it's DLC.
Well, it was through an update.
Oh, okay.
And
because I'm playing it right now, so I just haven't run across that yet.
So the same Garuda from Final Fantasy XIV gets summoned by a group of world-displaced Alaxul and functions as a boss during the event. Meanwhile, another Garuda, known as the Messenger of the Winds, is an ancient being once defeated by the Astrals in battle and sent into a long slumber. Her true name lost, she takes the name of the evading Primal and aids Noctis in a similar way to the Astrals. Okay, this sounds awesome. That you get to fight the Garuda from 14 and 15. Because I never experienced this in 15.
I haven't either. I'm hoping to, though. I'm playing every single side quest and little bit of content so I can try and squeeze as much out of it and try and see if I can get some of this cool lore that we're discussing.
Don't forget the Assassin's Creed crossover they did.
No. All that, I mean, the only thing I get out of that, I think, is an outfit, which just comes as DLC, which I'll never use.
You can use the hidden blade.
Yeah, I'm not an Assassin's Creed guy. Sorry.
Okay, well, we're going to move on. And last but not least is Final Fantasy 16. So Garuda, the Warden of the Wind, will appear as an icon in Final Fantasy 16, with her dominant being Benedicta Harmon. In addition, Clive Rosville can utilize her power in combat, allowing him to use her talents in battle. And that's it, because we're not going to spoil squat for that game yet.
I mean, yeah, it pretty much just did, but...
Yeah, I mean, but that's still, like, early game.
Very early game, yeah.
Benedicta is one of the highlights of the first half of the game, for sure. Her personality, the way the voice actress is able to put it all together. One of my favorite characters. And in preparation for this, I actually went on YouTube and found like the big fight that they have.
It's good.
And I went back and I listened to it, and it's just such fantastic storytelling. her character has so much depth. And I mean, I know we're not talking about her, we're talking about Garuda, but just that you will care about Garuda because you will care about Benedicta, even though you might not be on the same side as her.
No.
I will say it's the first time Garuda has ever stuck out to me, because before we started this podcast, I didn't play 14. I didn't get that far in 15, and she's not really that big of a deal. She's just kind of a common enemy in a lot of the games that I played a lot of. So it was never.
And this is something different. Like, this is something with 16 is that they focus so heavily on the summons of the games, which are in the game are called icons. But regardless, they bring them to the forefront. Even if you play older Final Fantasies, if you don't play 14 or anything like that, like, they didn't really mean anything. They were just, hey, here's an ultimate attack you can use in battle, but that was it. Mm-hmm. To where now, like, besides 14 and 16, all the summons have a actual story plot to the game.
Well, 10 does as well.
Well, I mean, other games do too, but more intertwined with the story and heavily with it.
Than most. 16 definitely the most. Yeah, it is basically the story.
I would say 10, 14, and 16 are the three, at least modern ones, that really the summons are super important.
Yep.
Yep.
In terms of the story content.
9 a little bit, not as much as the other ones.
Right, I was gonna say 9 a little bit, but not as much. But I feel like 10, 14, and 16 they really take their time to make the summons matter, not just in like use in battle, but outside of battle,
right.
and everything that goes with it.
Right, because like in 7,
they're not just airships.
No,
or 7, where they're literally just 7. It's literally just an attack. It's just another piece of a magic that you equip to yourself. Like, they don't, and you could put it on anybody. That's why I feel like it makes it less special.
Is Alexander really like? I mean, I know like the Knights of the Round Table. You go like, so you go and find it, but they don't really have any story. I feel like with any of them. 8, they're kind of important because the GFs are why your characters don't have they don't remember certain things.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so Garuda finishing strong. I hope Garuda continues to be important moving forward.
She has a really cool.
Right, like the model in 16 is awesome, and I love Quetzalcoatl, but I don't think Quetzalcoatl is coming back, so that's going to be like just my one love for Final Fantasy VIII, and we can have a Garuda moving forward. I am 100% good with that.
Yeah, Quetzalcoatl was a weird like one-off. I think that's the only game that they're in, and it's just kind of. I don't understand why that was in there. It's just a random Aztec god. It's like, okay, now this is the wind person now. Like, all right, if you say so.
Yep. But
I don't want to attack Trey's favorite.
But there you have it. That is all that we have on Garuda for this episode. Is there anything else you guys want to add before we end the show?
I got nothing.
Nope.
All right.
Light work on Garuda today. We'll have a banger next week, I'm sure.
The Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, the mobile game, I've been playing more of it because I've had some time at work where I've had to just like sit around for 10, 15 minutes. And it's really growing on me. It's grown on me a lot. I've been enjoying it. I haven't had to spend any money on it, and I've gotten most of the things to unlock. So if you have a lot of free time, or not even a lot, but like a lot of like 10, 15 minutes where you can play on your phone, and you want to do something other than scroll social media, you can go fight with Zach, Cloud, young Sephiroth, all sorts of stuff. It's enjoyable. So I recommend it.
And it adds more lore for Sephiroth, which is really cool. So
I mean, yeah, but I'm not there yet. I'm still grinding my levels.
That's fair. I haven't touched it since.
In true RPG fashion, I'm grinding my characters to be super overpowered, so that way I can just steamroll everything.
That's where I'm at with 15 right now. I'm literally like I mentioned, I'm playing every single side quest, so I'm literally like 15 levels above where the main quest is right now. And I'm enjoying it. I think I was just thinking it while I was playing it today. It's really is a beautiful game. I think it honestly looks better than 16 even as you're driving around. Just the landscapes, I think, look a lot better. I don't know. I'll try and take some screenshots and send them because they do. I think they look better. 16's very blah. It's very sad.
It's very war torn.
It's very like for Witcher fans. It's the Velen.
Yeah.
It's like,
yes. It's a very war torn world where 15 is very free. Very, it's the Toussaint of Witcher.
It is the
yeah. But that is all we have for the Witcher, or not for the Witcher Lorecast. That's my other show. For the Final Fantasy Lorecast. Thank you for listening, and may the crystals guide you. Thank you for listening to the Final Fantasy Lorecast. You can find us on the Robots Radio Discord at robotsradio.net. You can find us on Twitter at FFLorecast, and you can email us at fflorecast@gmail.com.
Hi, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. Are you looking for a beach read this summer? May I suggest your big wireless bill? It's got suspense, mystery, a slightly flat, emotional arc, and a shocking twist where you realize you've been overpaying the entire time. Fortunately, though, Mint's story is better. Every plan, $15 a month, even unlimited. That's it. Happy ending. Zero tears.
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.